Okay, wow. Whew. I gotta relook at this and see, make sure my wires look tight, and they do. Make sure, see, before I start screwing it in, I kind of like to hold it there to see how well it's going to go in, see if I need to pull it out and twist on this a little bit one way or another. I'm trying to get this to lay flat. Okay, looks like this plug, I messed with it just a little, but not much. I think that's going to fit down in there nice and straight. Looks like I could kind of tweak it to the left just a little bit. Not a whole lot, because I didn't really touch that one at all, did I? Okay, so now I can get my screws. And this is a nice easy box to work in because I've got all that extra room. Can you imagine if you were just screwing this back up to a sheetrock wall? You wouldn't have this extra 3/4 of an inch, and it would make it that much more difficult to get all of these wires in this box. That's when the electricians have to do everything strategically. I would not have put a wire nut with the ground screw, with the ground wires back there. I would have initially used crimpers and then pushed those way back into the back of the box first, so that those did not encroach anywhere near wire nuts, the back of these switches and all that. Okay. I had that black magic marker on this plug, so I know about where it's going to go. It doesn't have to go exactly perfect, but obviously I want this cover plate to cover the hole and stuff. But this gives me a good starting point, knowing that everything looks about where it should be. Okay, I got my plug back in there. Now, let's do the next one. And you initially want to push this back to make sure it's all going to go back without hitting too much, because you don't want to say, oh, I'll just put the screw in, and just the screw will just jerk it into place. Well, it could bend this. Maybe your wire has to be rerouted there, and it's not allowing you to go in there, and all you're doing to get this flush, you think, is you're bending this out of whack. You put the wire, you put the cover plate back on, and then you find out that the front face is not flush with everything. This one's all pushed in or pushed out because you got your tab bent. Okay, so I don't know exactly where this one goes just yet, but I can push it into there for now, can I? And now I can take the last one. And I always do these by hand. I don't take my battery operated drill and just crank it in. I don't like doing that. I like to do these by feel. And this one I had a little felt tip pin there, so I can kind of see what sort of gap I need. This one probably has to come over just a hair. Okay. Before I do that, I can check that with my cover plate. Sure enough, it has to go over to the left a little bit. And these have a slot in there, so I can kind of slide it over a little before I tighten it back. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done, aren't we? Looking good. Try this again. And I like to have the edge of the light switch and the front face of this and everything flush with the outside of this and in line, so I can kind of hold this about where I think it needs to be, and I can see maybe this switch could be pushed over, even though it's in the hole. I think if I push it just slightly over, it might fit in the actual hole a little bit nicer. And there, that looks pretty good. Okay, and I'll take my same screws, and I like to I've got 6 screws. I noticed one of them was kind of marked a little bit. I'll put that down towards the bottom. Got all of my nice white ones that I took out. I'll put those back up to the top. Just tighten it snug. Don't over tighten these. Okay. If you do, it's easy to crack these covers. I've done it before. And if you were watching me just lately, I actually cracked a mirrored cover plate that fit on top of a mirror. I don't know if you saw that or not. That kind of ticked me off. I couldn't really see it. I didn't think I was tight to the back because I thought I saw a gap while I was looking at the mirror, you know, back, and it just cracked. My last little oomph like that, it cracked. So I don't care if these screws are all lined up straight or all at an angle or all straight across. I don't really care about that. All I care about is that it's snug. But I think to here it all looks straight. My gaps look all the same. That's good. Okay. You think you can do a project like this? I think you can. I came across some stuff that I wasn't really thinking I was going to come across, but I gave you some ideas on how to make it work, what sort of things to do, and we got it done. Now I'm going to turn the breakers back on, make sure everything works. Okay, I just turned all 3 breakers back on, everything went back on fine. I have not touched this since then. And I'm going to hit this first. Oh, that's sweet. Garbage disposal. And that's my light. That's the light up there now. Okay. Oh, let's get you up here. Off, on. Okay. So that works. And last but not least, let's check with our tester. On there. Power is on. See there, the orange light? Everything works now again. Now, would this still work? Would your light switch still work if it was upside down? Yeah, it would. But then you'd have to turn it on down here, off up there. That's why you always want to make sure you look at the top. Make sure the top, plus this, you could do the same thing with that. Have it backwards. But with these paddle switches, usually the off position is down here. On is there. Off, on, up at the top. If you have a paddle switch that's different than that, maybe it's on a 3-way switch or a 4-way switch, meaning you can turn this particular light on not only from here, but somewhere else in your room, over here, or to the left, whatever. Then you can't do anything with those, and those don't have a top or bottom on them. You can put them any other way you want. I think. I think you can. Okay? So, anyways, that's our project. Hope you learned something. Of course, don't call it good until you clean up. Clean up after yourself. Especially, you don't want any of these copper wire bits going down your drain or down your garbage disposal or anything like that. I want you to get in the habit of cleaning up. Okay? Make it look like you were never here. I'll get the rest with a sponge and wipe it down once and for all. And that's how I want you to leave all your projects, as though you didn't do anything at all. Because that's the beauty of it. Whenever you do something, you want to have it all done. And does it even look like I ever touched this area here at all? No. That's how I try to leave all my projects. And I've got a sponge here. We've got a nice sponge that we leave by the kitchen sink. We change that every so often, every few weeks. And then the dirty one, after we call it good, see, this one still looks pretty good, huh? We keep that underneath the sink, and then we'll do that for things on the floor or wipe ups that we don't want to use that sponge. So I'm just going to use that one. I'm not going to use the one that I wash the dishes with or rinse off the dishes with. I just don't do stuff like that. Just leave that one down there. All right, let's get out of here. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. And what am I going to talk about next time? What am I going to show you next time? Well, you'll just have to keep watching my videos to find out.